Basketball Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. As always, the Grueling Truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino or sportsbook that's right for you. Make sure you check them out at betting.net. I am your co-host for the Indiana Basketball Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, 1981 national champion, 1979 NIT champion, 7th round draft pick of the Phoenix Suns, a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Yeah, after watching that, much better than I was in the first half.
Oh, God. I'll tell you, the first half, Steve, was mildly disturbing to say the least. And it actually looked like Michigan just wanted to win the game more than Indiana did at that point. And my question is, why didn't we ever double team Landon Dickinson?
I'm not sure we
Or
did
Hunter
anything.
Dickinson. What the hell did I say Landon for? Go ahead.
Landon, the big
It's
guy I know you're
Hunter.
talking about,
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson. Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson. I'm not sure we guarded anybody in the first half. This was a just an exact reversal of what we've seen a lot of the season, where Indiana plays 30 good minutes of basketball and then all of a sudden stinks it up for the last 10 minutes and we end up losing by 2 or 3 or 4 points. This was a situation where we stunk it up for what,
25 minutes.
25 and 28 minutes. We're down 17 points with 12 minutes to go. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose and Indiana comes ready to play. And we turn a 17-point deficit into a 7-point lead at one time. And thank God we had that cushion.
Well, you
Um,
know who stood out to me that I don't think will stand out to a lot that a lot of people will ignore or not notice was Jordan Geronimo. I mean, he only scored 5 points, but defensively he played extremely well, and he gave this team a lot of energy coming off the bench.
yeah, Mike, I agree. I think there were 2 or 3 sparks. Obviously, you can't
I do
discount.
too. I'm just talking about the one that people are going to not mention, which would be
Yeah,
him.
yes, I agree. And I think Knight or not Knight, Woody was uh, pointed him out specifically in his post game interview that I was watching. He definitely pointed out Geronimo came out. I thought that Rob Finney gave him significant, important minutes defensively. And I thought Trey Galloway just came out and just seemed to spark him by just going out and playing hard.
I don't know. He drove me
And
nuts with those two missed layups, though, in the last
yeah,
5 minutes.
he definitely, but, we can break down the schematics of the game. But yeah, but I just think the effort he gave up and down the court defensively and offensively, he made a couple of great passes in the end to Trayce Jackson Davis that got some easy buckets for Trayce. Trayce coming in and basically scoring 5 points, I think, in the first half,
Yeah,
and then
19 in the second half. He played
19
lights
in the
out in the
second
second
half.
half.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and really, they win this game, Steve, and they got almost nothing from Race Thompson, who only played 20 minutes, and almost nothing from Parker Stewart, who only played 13 minutes. So Geronimo, Galloway, and Finney off the bench were huge for the Hoosiers.
huge. Those three were just and Geronimo definitely the least statistical of any of them, I think. Although I don't know, I don't have a stat sheet in front of me yet.
Yeah, his
Um,
stats, I mean, are not outstanding, but I mean, you can't look at a stat sheet and tell who really
no,
contributed. Because when you look at Geronimo, he scored 5 points, 1 of 2 from 3 point range, which was only his seventh make from 3 point range. Big thing here, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. He blocked 2 shots. He only picked up 1 foul. He had 2 rebounds, but defensively, he played exceedingly well, I thought.
exceedingly well, very much so. And I said everybody stepped up in the second half and started not turning the ball over, started not making a lot of dumb mistakes. Um, I thought they did try and press the ball a little bit too much when they didn't need to, and Johnson started to take charge of that with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, realizing it was in their favor to just run time off and to run a steady play. The thing that drives me nuts is most of these teams want to start their offense with about five
Yeah.
seconds, 6 seconds to go. You got to make a commitment at 12 seconds. You start your offense. And if you can wipe 20 seconds off a clock with a 7-point lead and 2 or 3 minutes to go in the game, you're not likely going to get beat. But if you start forcing issues, or if you wait till the last 5 seconds and then a couple of layups you talked about with Galloway came in that situation where he just had to basically behind his head chuck it up there and hope he could hit a rim or something like that and we can get a rebound. So, but not being said, this was a win that I think the most important thing about this win, I think it solidifies Indiana in the tournament.
I think right now this win puts them in. I think the difference is this.
I think it puts them in.
I think this. If they lose to Illinois, I think they've probably got to play in the first four in Dayton. But if they beat Illinois, I think they're up to maybe a 10 seed even.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I think even a good showing against Illinois would probably pull them out of the first four in tournament in Dayton.
Well, see, and I think this. I think Michigan could be out now.
Oh, I think Michigan is out now. I mean,
17 and 14 ain't 17 too pretty. 14, and losing a 17-point lead.
Yeah, and blowing a 17-point lead does not bode well with the selection committee, I'm sure. And that was my fear of Indiana. I thought if Indiana can at least get this game close to a 1 or 2 point game, I still think they're on the bubble at that point in time.
But they're probably not getting in with a loss here.
Probably, yeah. Well, if it was a 1 or 2 point loss, especially given the fact that Indiana was coming back from 17 down and brought it back to a 2 point game, I still think they had a 50-50 shot of getting in, at least into the play-in tournament.
I think it was,
but we don't have to deal with that now.
And we could go play in the play-in tournament in Dayton. That'd be fine. I'm credentialed. I could sit and watch an IU basketball game.
We still may be playing in Dayton.
And we've seen teams come out of that first four, like Virginia Commonwealth, go all the way to the Final Four. So it's not like it hadn't been done before. And we've seen a lot of teams at least get to the Sweet 16 out of that. And to tell you the truth, after the 5 or 6 years of doing this show and never being able to talk about Indiana basketball once the NCAA tournament started, unless we're doing an NIT show, I will take whatever we get to get.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, I already texted Mike and sent a message over to Mike and the team, and it's you don't. I don't want to single out anybody in this game. I thought Johnson got us going early. He kept us just with some hope in the first half.
Yeah, the problem was he got the second
only
foul.
Player playing hard in the first half.
Well, they took him out in the second half because of in the first half with the second foul about halfway
got
through.
Foul trouble.
And that's where the wheels fell off of everything.
When the wheels, exactly.
Yeah, Rob Finney is a good defender. Offensively, he is not the threat Xavier Johnson is. And also, Xavier Johnson right now, especially over the last 6, 7, 8 games, has really started to assert himself. He looks like he has a ton of confidence on the offensive end.
Yeah, he certainly does. I think he's learning to be, and I had written down some notes as the game was going on. It's just first half, this team just absolutely lacked leadership. Johnson was making an effort to, but nobody was following him in any way, shape, or form. Everybody just looked so flat, and I'm thinking, I'm watching the game with my son, and we're sitting there, and I'm thinking, how on earth can Indiana be this flat when they have to know the relative importance of this game to them? I mean, this is their season in a nutshell right here. Because if they lose, the chances of them make it are at best 50%. At best, and you got to hope that you don't get the selection stealers, that come in and like I said, these mid-range conference teams that start winning these conference championships, that it doesn't go to the best team, and then all of a sudden they got to fill 2 spots out of that league. So, but Indiana, they a massive comeback. Everybody did their job in the second half. Trayce Jackson Davis just woke up. He just woke up and just became very dominant inside, and shutting their big guy down, number one. He had only 3 points, 2 points.
Yeah, but Dickinson did next to nothing in the second half.
Yeah, 2 points was the last I saw that he had in the second half. after a 13-point first half.
All right, real quick,
So,
Steve. I want to bring up the important part. Is today I'm
oh
sitting
yeah,
there and I'm on Caesar's Sportsbook, and I see Indiana is like plus 136. I figure, what the hell? I'll throw some money on it. So at 60 to 43, I was upset. But by the time it was over, I was very happy. The Hoosiers won. I won some money. And if you think Indiana's going to beat Illinois tomorrow, check out Caesar's Sportsbook. You can check that link out in the YouTube description below. Make sure you click there. And also, make sure you go to find the best place to bet for you. Betting.net offers expert user reviews for every sports line or sportsbook and casino in your state. Steve, to me, the biggest play of this game was Indiana's up by two with I mean not a lot of time left, around 20 seconds, and you have Diabate's pass, which deflects off the hand of Eli
oh
Brooks. I mean, right there, they're going to have the ball with a chance to tie or win at the end. That changed everything completely. And then, as an IU fan, even though it's Xavier Johnson, when he goes to the free throw line, you just kind of hold your breath because we know how this can go free throw shooting wise for this team. But the play of the game to me was Diabate's pass, which deflected off the hands of Eli Brooks.
yeah, that was big. They also missed a call just outside of the 2-minute mark, where I think the big guy definitely slapped the ball out of bounds.
Oh yeah, and they didn't review it.
They didn't review it. Well, they said they couldn't review it until 2 minutes, and every IU player was going, no, that went off him. They showed the replay, and they only showed the replay once, which I think they get the key not to do that if it's that obvious of a missed call. But that's where I get frustrated with instant replay is if you're going to have the damn thing, use the damn thing.
Yeah,
If
because
you're not going to have it, not going to use it, don't have it.
A 2-point game, a play with 12 minutes left can have just as big an impact as a play with 10 seconds left.
No doubt. And I'm just saying, yeah, if you're going to go with instant replay, then just go with it. If you got a call that needs to be reviewed, do it like the NFL does. Hey, we give you 3 reviews. Each team gets a certain number of reviews, and you can review those. Those are yours to use any time in the game you want it reviewed.
That's probably the best way to do it because from what we've seen in the last 2 minutes of games, the last 2 minutes can sometimes last 30 minutes because an obvious call, you get the 3 blind mice.
Well, they review everything in the last 2 minutes, and the NFL does that
How about
too.
this? I think you can review whenever you want, but the review should take less than a minute. If you cannot clearly see in less than a minute whether you were right or wrong, the call stands.
Yeah, I agree. But this is one time when I don't know that the stat sheet has much relative importance. I don't even know what the stats are because it's
Well, I'll tell you the relative stat that was important to me
right now.
The fact is this: Indiana shot almost 60% in the second half, and I think they held Michigan to like
the first half.
For the game, I think they were like 46%. So they probably shot in the 30s in the first half. And then basically they completely flipped those numbers. And the way they played defense, especially on the perimeter, the way they harassed the guy with the ball. And then the big difference to me defensively was the energy they played with because in the first half, their switching was horrible on defense. In the second half, seemed like they were on top of everything, Steve.
They were a step ahead of Michigan defensively, they were a step ahead of Michigan most of the second half. They were a step behind Michigan in everything they were doing in the first half. And Mike had said in his post game interview with the Big Ten media that he said there was an ass queuing going on in the locker room at halftime, and there needed to be. I mean, even had I been invited in the locker room at halftime, I would shoot ass. It's like, are you guys absolutely kidding me that this is the effort you're going to throw out here right now in front of your hometown fans, in front of in your city?
With everything
this is
on the line.
An IU town. This is not a Purdue town. This is an IU town.
The only Purdue town is West Lafayette, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm no disrespect to Purdue, but that's just the way it is.
And during basketball season, every city in Indiana is an IU town.
It's an IU town. Yeah, it's just the way it is. And to come out and give that kind of effort in the first half, and I would have loved to have been in the locker room because it would have gotten my juices flowing. To hear somebody just rip these guys and say, I don't even. This is so stupid. I can't even give you anything. You
Yeah,
better get
it
out
was
there and play your asses
sickening. It
off.
was sickening to watch.
It
Like
was
four
sickening.
Hoosiers stand around where the ball's being rebounded, and the one guy in yellow jumps up and just grabs it from him, or a guy from yellow runs around the backside, grabs it from him. It was extremely irritating. If they play like that against Illinois and fall down by 17, they're going to lose.
I
Illinois
mean,
is a much better team than Michigan.
yeah. Anybody that's doing a post game analysis now, besides us, and you're sitting there and trying to statistically analyze this game, you're knucking futs. All right, you're
This
just
game
knucking
was about
futs.
emotion. It was about
This was an
emotion for
emotional
both
game.
teams the
Yeah,
entire game.
you better be talking about the emotion this team showed. Like you said, the big thing to me, it's a reversal of what we've seen. 30 minutes of good basketball followed by 10 minutes of just give it away, to 30 minutes of crap basketball followed by 10 minutes of let's get this thing, and they did it.
12 minutes of
And
looking like they could go to the Final Four, as opposed to the other 30 minutes, which looked like they couldn't even play in the
yeah,
NIT.
Trayce Jackson Davis said, when we play like the last 12 minutes of the game, because they interviewed him, he said, we're as good as any team in the country. Now, I don't know that I'd go that far.
How about this?
But
If they play like this the rest of the way,
they play like this,
they
they're
can make
very
the
difficult.
Sweet 16.
They easily can make the Sweet 16 if they play like the last 12 minutes of the game.
But
That's
they can't
been
play like the
frustrating.
first 28 minutes to get to those 12.
No, if they're going to run up against teams that aren't going to lay down and die. And the only thing I kept telling my son was
I'm
don't
glad
worry.
Juwan Howard was coaching.
If they get into a coaching situation, Juwan Howard cannot coach him out of this.
No.
And
they would have been better off with the guy who was coaching them when he was gone.
Yeah, Giardelli or Giardelli.
Martelli. Yeah, he's won 447 games. He took St.
Yeah.
Joe's to the Elite Eight. The guy's a hell of a coach.
And
Juwan Howard's not. And you know how you know that? I don't think there was any stupid technicals when Martelli was the coach. Today, you get the basket, and then the guy, asking for the N1, pointing at the official. That's Michigan basketball. There was not a foul called on them for the first 14 minutes of the game.
And the foul situation was 15-5 at one point in time.
And you know what? To me, though, that's not officiating. That was Indiana's lack of aggression on the offensive end.
Yeah.
When people talk about that, there wasn't a whole lot of fouls I saw on Michigan.
Not being creative, yeah.
Yeah, so
Indiana was not putting themselves in a position to get fouled.
Yeah, you got to take the ball strong to the hole. And the problem with Indiana a lot of times this year is it seems like on offense they shy away from contact instead of going to the contact. Yeah. Which I think hurts them. Hell, if you remember back in the 80s, if there was an IU game at Assembly Hall, IU would make more free throws than the other team shot normally. Because they were just aggressive, and you're going to get calls at home when you're aggressive. All right, Steve. Now, I will bring up on our Big Ten preview show, I have nailed every game so far. And I'm 2 games up. But
I thought you took Michigan in this game.
No, I took Indiana. I took Indiana to beat Illinois. I had Indiana in the Final Four of the Big Ten tournament, losing to Iowa.
Really?
Go back and watch the show, Steve.
I thought you took Michigan.
No, you took Michigan. I took Indiana.
No, I took Indiana.
No. Watch the show.
I've got Indiana checked on my schedule right here. Don't give me that crap. I've got it right here.
I can pull the show up right now. Or wait a second. Wait, you did have them beat. We both had them beating Michigan. I had them beating Illinois. You had them losing to Illinois.
I have them losing to Illinois, but I had them beaten. So, and I thought, so you're 3-0, I'm 2-1.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as Indiana keeps winning. Because if they keep winning, that means I'm going to be at least one more. And
if you took Indiana, I personally hope you're 4-0 come tomorrow morning at another 8:30 game for me. What's this deal?
Well, they're trying to make sure that you get up,
I did. I was in the shower at 6:30 this morning. Are you kidding me?
Well, see, by the time you got up, I'd written 2 articles, posted them all, shared them all over the place, and then I went to Aldi's because the Aldi's down here opened up brand new, and it looked like an IU game from 1981 with the crowd in Aldi's.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you get? Did you get some chicken wings or something?
Actually, we did get some chicken wings. It's about the only place that they're affordable. 4 pounds of chicken wings there was $14. That is now considered a good price.
That's a great price.
It's not really.
I was sitting here this morning at 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning looking at my son like, do I dare ask him to run to BW3s real quick and get some wings?
Well, see, the thing is this. What was
I
great
didn't
last
dare
night,
ask.
What was great last night? is my son and his girlfriend. We're going like to his friends. My other son was at work. We're by ourselves. Now, if it's all four of us, we got to have like 6 to 8 pounds of wings. That's expensive as hell. We're at the
Yeah.
store when my son calls to say him and his girlfriend are going somewhere. My wife looked at me and said, "We need to get chicken wings," because all it took then was like 2 or 3 pounds, and we're good. And then the
There you
bad thing
go.
is, my son comes home early, and he's like, "Where are my chicken wings?" I'm like, "Hey, you got a job? Shut the hell up." And then I took him in the bathroom and I screamed at him like Mike Woodson did at IU today, and it worked.
It
Will it work
worked.
tomorrow? I mean, here's the issue: you have to play in 24 hours against a team that hasn't played since Sunday. That could be good or bad. Because my concern here is you come out hot early, get a lead, but then kind of peter out because you lose a little bit. The one good thing here, I think the guy that stands out to me is the guy that really needs to step up that didn't today is Parker Stewart. He only played 13 minutes, so he'll be well rested. The same
Well,
thing, Race Thompson only played 20 minutes. I would look for big games from those guys
yeah, we,
tomorrow.
we, we didn't get much out of either one of those two players, and look how we did. Now, the great thing was we had a couple, three other players really step up. Geronimo, uh, Finney,
Well, and
and
let's face it,
Galloway.
from here on out, to be able to win in the Big Ten
You got to
tournament
have
and in
five.
March Madness,
Everybody's got to
everybody's
step
got to
up
step
now.
up. Yeah.
Everybody's got to step up, no doubt. No, I
You know,
did it,
hey
Mike.
Steve,
I'm gonna do this.
we've done this, Steve, so many times that we now finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, we are. I
It's
know.
like The Notebook or Sleepless in Seattle. All right,
Yeah.
if you look at Illinois, they're coming off Sunday. They beat Iowa 74-72. They beat a tough Penn State team 60-55 on that Thursday. They beat Michigan 93-85 at Michigan. So they're on a 3-game winning streak. 4 games ago, they got beat by 3 points against Ohio State at home, but they beat Michigan State before that. So they've won 4 of their last 5. They've been playing really well. You got Kofi Coburn. You get some very good guard play. I mean, I think, for my money, I think Illinois is the team in this conference that has the best shot to make the Final Four, and that's probably just because of Coburn. And if Coburn is hot, you're in trouble. But they've got some good guards. You got Curbelo, you got Plummer, you got Williams. I mean, they're all solid. And Trent Frazier. There's no real weakness on this team that I see. But the one weakness I have seen is Coburn, when he gets in foul trouble, this team's not as good. It's just like they had the COVID issues at the start of the year, and they blew a 15-point lead to a very average Cincinnati team and lost by 20. So Coburn, I think, is the key. Also, I would really like to see Trayce Jackson Davis go hard at him tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think that the last 12-minute version of this Indiana basketball team, matches up with Illinois fine. I don't think that there's any real fear you'd have at any one position that you can get totally overrun. But I think they have to match up with the last 12 minutes. I think you're spot on. Trayce and Race have to go at Coburn hard, and they've got to just pummel him.
Well,
One,
Xavier
two,
Johnson,
one,
too.
two.
Take the ball to the hole
Take the
hard.
ball to
Make
the
him make a
hole.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play this game inside till you get him out of the game. That's
Yeah.
the key to this. Just play the game. Don't worry about the 3-point shots. Take those if you kick it out and they're there, but take this game down to the paint and force Coburn to play. Because I don't think he can run for an extended period of time against Race and Trayce, and if Johnson starts penetrating like he's capable of doing. That's what I would hope that Mike and his staff would be talking about right now, and we'll figure out when they look at Illinois film and things like that. I think if you don't do that, you're playing right into Illinois' strengths, and you're letting them control the tempo of the game, and you're protecting Coburn. And they know that without Coburn in that game, they're not any better than Indiana at all.
So the question is, do you double team Coburn?
Do I double? Again, I go back to which team are you talking about? You talking about the first 28-minute team
It
or the
doesn't
last
matter. We're talking
12-minute
about
team?
Trayce Jackson Davis, and we saw how that went the last time he tried to guard him.
I think
He
he
was
put Race
overpowered.
Thompson on him. Let Race bang with him, and you look for help dropping off the shooters and dropping back in.
See, I think Jordan Geronimo could be huge there. because
That's
he's
where
really
the
athletic
quickness
and
and
he's
speed he's
fearless.
got. You find a guy that's going to be making the entry passes. You put Geronimo on that guy, and you tell Geronimo, as soon as that pass goes into Coburn, you go back in and you start slapping at the ball as he's trying to maneuver
Yeah.
his back to the bucket.
Even if you give up 5 fouls in
That,
5 or 10 minutes, do
that's
it
okay.
anyways. Just wear
Just
his
to
ass
frustrate
out.
the hell out of him,
Yeah.
and let's wear him out. Put Race on him because Race is a little more physical a player than Trayce is, and you keep Trayce out of foul trouble for his offensive
Well, how about
threats.
this? What if you didn't
So,
guard him with them? What if you did guard him, but you doubled? But a guy like Michael Durr is a
well,
big guy, and it
you know
just
who else I'm
rotate these
thinking could
guys and
handle him?
pound on him. Who's
I
that?
think Miller Kopp. Miller Kopp's 6'7". He's no little guy. You know, I
I don't know. I think you need a
I
guy that's an exceptional athlete to be. Yeah, because if you've got quicker feet than Coburn,
not.
I think you can get
I
in
don't.
front
I
of him.
disagree with you when you're playing down on the block. You don't have to be an exceptional athlete to guard somebody on the block,
I think
unless you're
Coburn's
trying
a
to guard a
different
Trayce
thing,
Jackson
though.
Davis, who's so agile and so quick. Trayce gets his points down low, not with physicality, with finesse.
Yeah, but I
He's one of
think
the
a
few
guy
players
like
that I've seen
Coburn.
that can do that.
Yeah, but
Coburn gets his
Coburn.
points by just bowling over you.
Yeah, and the thing is this: we
And
haven't
he's
had
a great
anybody
player.
that didn't get bowled over yet. He's a hell of a player.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Coburn. I mean, he's the scariest part of us playing Illinois tomorrow.
Yeah,
Obviously,
the
there's
three
no
best
doubt.
players in this league to me are him, the Ivy kid from Purdue, and Johnny Davis.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, those hands down are the 3 best players. I'll tell you, the most
that's not an
improved over the
unfair
last 10
observation,
weeks.
Mike, at all.
Over the last 10 weeks, though, as probably the last 10 games, Xavier Johnson's been the most improved.
He's
I
elevated
think it's
himself
going
into
to be,
that
yeah.
level of status somewhere in there.
You can see the confidence. You can see that your leader can come right from there.
I would have no problem on any team in the Big Ten taking Johnson as my point guard
Yeah, to me, he
right now.
starts everywhere but Purdue.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe Wisconsin with Davis there, possibly. But other than that, and I don't know that I wouldn't put them both on the court, but I think that Johnson's emerged into a true point guard. I mean, I think he handled the press well. He got the ball up court. Galloway stayed back with him, and those two broke their press pretty much every time they came down the court without making any real turnovers until most of the turnovers came after they got the ball in the front court. So,
All right, Steve. Does
so
Indiana
I
win
think the
tomorrow?
key there is I would put Thompson on Coburn. I would drop somebody off the perimeter to just double team him from the top.
Well, I think Geronimo and Kopp would both be good for that.
What you want to do is keep Coburn from putting the ball on the floor. You drop somebody in off the top and drop him back in and start slapping the ball and start harassing him as he's trying to dribble to maneuver. Then you've created problems for him. He
And he will
can't
get
dribble the ball
frustrated.
freely. And that's the way to do that. That's the way to defend him. Now, you got to be somebody like Geronimo or somebody who's quick, who can get back to his shooter, because if he kicks it back out, you don't want to put a shooter out there. And then all of a sudden you've left a shooter open.
We just got to make sure that the guys up top know that, and when the ball is kicked out, everybody scrambles.
Everybody
And
rotates over and leave the far wing guy open. Make him make that cross court pass.
Yeah.
That gives you time to recover.
Yeah.
And Mike is smart enough to know that. That's a defense we were trained on. That's a defense Mike was trained on. And that should be a defense that team should already have instilled in them. And I think that's the way to go to attack them. I think Indiana needs to attack Illinois and not let Illinois attack Indiana. I think offensively, Indiana's got to attack Coburn down low. They got to take the game at him down on the paint.
Betting.net finds the best promotions, offers, and bonus codes, so you don't have to head over to the website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. So am I. And this is, I think, the first Indiana game where I screamed at the TV in a few years. My wife was looking at me like, "Where's that been?"
There you go.
I'm
excited because I got my packet order of these shirts from Fanatics yesterday. So I've got gray ones, red ones, black ones. I'm ready to go. I thought, my God, I'm going to wear my old one that I've had for a week now, testing it out to make sure it's one I wanted to do. And now I've got multicolored. Don't lose by this, like this, and then I got to put all those shirts away till next winter.
Yeah, you don't want people from
But
California
I can
making
pull them
fun
out
of you.
now. Tomorrow I'm going to come out with a gray or red. What do you want, gray or red tomorrow?
Let's see. With a win, you will go red. With lose, we'll go gray, like
All
we're
right,
going to a funeral.
we'll go red tomorrow. I'll bring out my new red one tomorrow.
All right, guys, remember, if you want to bet on the Indiana-Illinois matchup tomorrow, which me and Steve will pick a winner for you here in a minute without a point spread, you can go check out Caesar Sportsbook. Maybe make sure you click on the description down below in the YouTube video. Steve, Indiana wins or loses tomorrow?
Oh, man. If I'm betting with my heart, Indiana wins. If I'm betting with my brains, Illinois pulls it out in a tight
If you're
game.
betting with your money, what are you going to do?
If I'm betting with money, I'm betting on Illinois to win this, not by much. But I'm not going to be surprised if Indiana pulls this off. If they play like the whole thing is which Indiana team's going to show up. The last 12 minutes of IU basketball, Indiana walks away with this and plays on Saturday. Hopefully not at 8:30 on Saturday morning.
It won't be.
I'll miss my
That's
Beverly
semifinals.
Hillbillies.
I think
Beverly Hillbillies are on at 8:30 on Saturday.
I think the games are either at 1 and 3:30 or 3:30 and 6. I think
that's
on
right.
Saturday,
That's right.
So
we pare the games down to only 2 games. So
yeah. All right.
But then I run into the problem. This is TPC Sawgrass. This is the Tournament Players Championship. Thank God they're in a 4-hour rain delay there in Jacksonville right now.
Steve is golf. Steve is golf.
I know.
It's golf. All right.
I know.
I'm going to stick with
what do you got? I'm saying
tournament prediction. I'm going with Indiana. I think they win the game. I think that Race Thompson comes up huge tomorrow. Parker Stewart will hit 4 threes.
And I pray to God you're right.
You don't have to pray. I'll be right. Maybe.
I pray to God you are. And I am just saying I'm betting for Indiana to win. I'm not betting. I'm hoping I want Indiana to win. I'm rooting for Indiana. But if I'm going to say making a betting prediction here,
Put it like this: if the point spread is 5 points or more, I'm all over Indiana. 3 to 5, I'm probably. Less than 3, I don't know. But then again, if I can get like a plus 160, 170 straight up, I'll bet them straight up. I think they can win this game. And I've thought that about every game. It just doesn't always work out that way.
But let's look at it this way, Mike. With about 14 minutes to go in the game, we were never even going to think about talking about betting tomorrow's game.
I was actually really trying to figure out a way to be pissed off about the lack of effort without being a total dick. So yeah. I don't know that
I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I'm sorry. But I saw somebody that commented on the video that my comments the last show were ugly. And I mean, lady, the game was ugly. It was all ugly. What are we supposed to sit here and say everything's nice? And I mean, it's just, you have to tell the truth. What we saw today was horrible for 28 minutes, but it was perfect for 12 minutes.
For 12 minutes, it was the IU team that we all thought.
Hey, if we could just be average for 28 minutes, in those perfect 12 minutes, they could win a national championship. They just need, and this is the thing, you can't play at your highest level for 40 complete minutes. I've never seen a team do it, not even the 76 Hoosiers. You still have breakdowns and letdowns from time to time.
Sure.
But you can, when you start to play poorly, just dig yourself a deeper hole that you have to get out of. All right? So to me, I mean, there's nobody that plays 40 great minutes. You're going to have at least 10 minutes where things go bad. The difference is this. If your defense is really good for the 10 minutes that goes bad, you're not so bad off. If you watch Xavier Butler in the Big East tournament last night, the first 5 minutes, Xavier had a 4-0 lead. Butler couldn't buy a basket, but after Xavier got 4 points, they couldn't make a shot. And then after a while, Butler gets in a groove. They get the guy gets hot. They win the game. And, I mean, that's kind of what happened here, only on a much larger scale because there was a lot less time. And once a team gets hot, especially in the tournament, you could see it last night because Xavier's kind of in the same situation as Indiana where they're trying to get in. They're playing a 12-18 Butler team, And when things started to go wrong, you could see them in the last couple minutes of the game panic. They missed like 6 consecutive free throws in the last 2 minutes and had a 5 point lead going into those 2 minutes. They lost because they got tight and they fell apart. So the point here is if Indiana can just play with the energy, not worry about winning or losing, they can beat anybody in this tournament. I really believe, Steve, they could win this tournament.
If they play like the last 12 minutes, no doubt. No doubt at all. I think the keys to tomorrow's game, are to carry this 12 minutes into the start of tomorrow's game.
Yes.
And carry it through the bulk of the game, and knowing you're going to have your downtime, and Illinois is going to make a run at some point in time. The other key is to attack Coburn, and right from the get-go, you've got to go at him with all three players, with Trayce, Race, and Johnson. Make that kid guard three people in the paint. He can't do it. He's not quick enough to stop all three of those guys, and they're good enough passers to dish the ball off. I mean, Johnson and Trayce Jackson had that lob pass down to an arc. It's like coffee black in a semi-pro.
I saw that movie once, but I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan. Guys, we will be back tomorrow right after Indiana beats Illinois to solidify an NCAA tournament bid and put us in the Big Ten semifinals. Hopefully, we'll be back with you Saturday and Sunday also. But Sunday night, we will have our NCAA tournament selection show. Dan Kornhauser is going to be there to join us for that, Steve.
Oh, right. That drags our show down a notch.
So we can beat him at another pick'em contest.
We can.
So make sure you check us out, guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. You can follow Steve at SRisley34. You can follow me at Grueling Truth. But for now, for Steve Risley, I'm
One takeaway, Mike. One takeaway.
What?
I think today's effort solidified us at least getting a selection bid into the tournament.
I think it gets us into the first four, unless mass
at least
chaos
the first
happens
four.
This weekend.
Depending on what we do from here on out, moves us up.
As long as we don't get mass chaos in conference tournaments, we'll be fine. But the problem is, a lot of years there's mass chaos in conference tournaments.
Michigan's going to be sitting there now until Sunday night on pins and needles, and I think they're going to get pricked. I don't think they'll make the dance with the record that they've got.
Well, we've seen teams do it, though. Georgia made it a few years ago at 17 and 14.
And it's Michigan. It's Michigan, so they're going to get some favoritism because of that. But I think Indiana now can rest that they will get a spot somewhere and be playing next week, either on Tuesday in Dayton or Thursday or Friday, just in bracket play.
Is it selfish if I just want them to play on Tuesday so I can go watch it?
No, yes, it is selfish, Mike. It is.
I know.
Because we don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, we do.
We want to go. We want them to come to L.A. and play
out here. I could go
hang
out with Mike Woodson, and I could get him to finally talk to you because I could call you when I'm standing by him and say, "Here, talk to this guy."
I'm not bothering Mike till the season's over. He's got other important things to do.
All right, Steve.
All right, we'll talk. We'll be back on same time tomorrow.
Yeah, same time tomorrow, right after the Indiana-Illinois game. Check us back out here at the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show. But for now, I'm Mike Goodpaster. That's Steve Risley. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth.